Just got done editing this interview. You guys are going to love it. Before I do that, though, I want you to know that I'm going to be in the comments for the next 30 minutes or so answering your questions. If there's additional questions you want me to ask the CEO next time I interview them, leave them below. Or if you're just loving the data points I get CEOs to share, click the thumbs up button below. That's your way of telling me you're loving this stuff, and I'll get you more of it. Additionally, again, I'll be in the comments answering any questions you have. All right, for 30 minutes. Enjoy the interview. Hello, everyone. My guest today is Andy Arnott. He's been an entrepreneur since the age of 19, started and run multiple seven-figure businesses, now running SellerSEO. His current venture is a suite of SaaS tools dedicated to helping Amazon sellers scale their businesses with SEO and paid marketing. Andy, you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, absolutely. Hells yeah.
All right. This whole Amazon space, man, is just hot, huh?
It's also brutal. It's very competitive.
Who do you compete with the most?
Let's see. Some of the biggest players in the market are a company called Viral Launch, another company called Helium 10. There's quite a few, actually. It feels like there's a new one popping up like every week.
And what do they all do, right? So what space do you put yourself in?
So we are a little bit different in terms of what we're doing. Most of the tools are, doing like things like, keywords and listing optimization and things like that. We also have those types of tools. I would say actually the sourcing tools. So getting, this data algorithm, data driven by algorithms to show Amazon sellers like what's going to be the next good product, but we've seen a huge problem with that because the data skewed. It's all based on algorithm. And so it's guessing because Amazon doesn't release that data, right?
Yeah.
They're getting better at releasing that data, but, we took a different turn and we're trying to concentrate more on things like offsite traffic because in the last couple of months, there's been a huge shift on Amazon. They're driving less organic, more paid. And so the cost per click on the Amazon PPC platform is astronomical.
So give me an example of a brand that uses you. Name their product and tell me how they use you.
Okay. Prometheus Wellness. They use us for listing optimization, which is our listing lightning tool. So it's kind of like hold your hand SEO. Like you put in your main phrase and it'll tell you, put this in your title, put these in your bullet points, put this in your description.
On Amazon, the Amazon description.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't know if you've done any SEO on like WordPress, but there's like Yoast, I think is the name of the plugin, where it kind of like guides you. It's similar to that. So it's holding your hand, even if you know nothing about SEO, to get you an SEO optimized listing. And then they also use we have a Traffic Titan tool, which is spinning up campaigns for Google PPC, but integrating something called two-step URL, which embeds a keyword in those ads. So when you drop on Amazon, you get some organic rank for those keywords.
Okay, so they've got Prometheus Wellness has a product called the Collagen Pro peptides, essentially, right? Their title is like very long, and it almost feels like keyword stuffing: non-GMO, paleo-friendly, pasture-raised, grass-fed. These are things that I assume your system is going, these are hot things. Figure out how to put them in your title. Is that kind of what you do?
Yeah. Exactly. So, the Amazon A9 algorithm is similar to Google was like 5 years ago. So they're kind of behind the curve. So keyword stuffing is, even though they tell you, best practice not to do it, we've seen over and over again that the companies that are doing that are the ones who are doing well. I always like to use Stanley Tools. I like to pick on them. But if you pull up a Stanley Tools listing, they're like, 4-in-1 screwdriver, right? And that's it. That's all they have in their title. And it's like on the opposite spectrum of optimized, So, that's how some of the little guys are competing with these big companies is they just don't quite get it yet. So it's cool to enable these mom and pop businesses to, get some traction on Amazon.
How do you know what words are getting the most searches by consumers in Amazon search?
So there's a couple of different data points now. So they just released something called Brand Analytics that ranks keywords from top to bottom. That's one way.
You have to pay for that?
It's not. It's part of the seller suite. So we're sellers as well. We still sell 7 figures every year on Amazon. That's kind of how we got into the space.
Okay.
So we use that, and we also use a bunch of other data sources and kind of combine them together to figure out what's going to work best.
Interesting. Okay. When did you launch the company? What year?
Last year, we kind of did a real soft beta. I think it was like in April, just to kind of get our feet wet, see what worked, what didn't. We had a full launch at the end of summer. So we're just a little over a year now.
Okay. And is this a pure SaaS model, or you take a % of sales, or what?
No, it's pure SaaS,
okay.
At least at the moment. We might be changing that with PPC and things because we're actually underpriced for a lot of our competitors.
So what is Promethean and the average customer? What are they paying you per year to use the tech?
So if they go yearly, it's I believe we're at about $870 for our top plan, and then monthly it's $97.
97 a month is a fair average, you'd say?
Our average is probably like 75 because we have some lesser plans too, which we're actually going to phase out because the tools work together.
Yep.
So a lot of people, when they sign up for the lesser plans, like, oh, I want to get to this endpoint, but then they don't have access to the tool. So there's some frustration there. So I think we're going to go to a single plan.
Interesting. Okay, so 75 launched in 2018. Take me through. I mean, how'd you get your first customer? Do you remember?
So we were doing, traditional advertising. I also started building, my social, last year. We launched the podcasts, right around, that same time.
What's the podcast title?
It's called Amazon FBA Seller Roundtable. And, we've only been around for, I think we're close to a year now, maybe a little over, but, yeah, we've just been climbing the charts, destroying it. I think because
numbers, Andy, how many downloads?
Oh, I don't track downloads. Go to Chartable and you'll see. I mean, we're solid. We're beating a lot of the other major podcasts in the space. So stuff that's been around for a long, long time.
But why? So I mean, look, the way I think about podcasts, it's almost like a daily. It's a daily show. It's almost like a daily webinar, essentially, right? If you get subscriptions. But why don't you track? Why don't you care about downloads? Isn't that enough? Isn't that a good barometer on?
I mean, we will probably soon. It's just we don't take advertisers or anything right now. So for us, that's not really a metric that I want to.
Well, but ignore that. They're all potential buyers of your software. All the listeners,
right? No, for sure they are.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that's fine. Well, I mean, is it a daily show?
It's weekly, and then we will throw in like something called a quick tip episode, which is usually like 5-10 minutes. If something big comes out, like in the Amazon space that people need to know about, like just recently, Amazon rolled out a feedback button, which sounds pretty basic, but on an Amazon order now on the seller screen, you can hit a button that says request feedback. So that was kind of a big deal. So I just did a quick episode on that. And then we also do, because we record live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, a lot of times, people can't make it, like our guests can't make it. So then we kind of do an extra, we call it, which it's just a one-on-one like we're doing now.
Yeah. Okay. So how many customers have you scaled to over the past year?
So it's an interesting story. So we got to about $9,000 MMR. And then we had a programming issue where the cancel button wasn't working on our software. And with Stripe, they have a 1% chargeback rate,
yep.
And then they boot you. And so we ended up getting booted from Stripe. So we ended up having to start over pretty much, which was really, really frustrating. When you port over, it's really hard to get people to port over when you're, spooling up a new billing system. So that was a real issue and a real problem. So that was
about 120 customers paying $75 a month for $9,000 a month in revenue. Stripe shuts you down. Right. How many have now gone over to your new billing system?
So we're back up to 32. But what we did because of this, it was good in the fact that, like, I always try to spin negative to positive, right? So what I saw this as a positive is that, okay, we need to turn off any type of paid advertising. We weren't doing a ton already, but it was like, we need to turn off our paid advertising. We need to go back, make sure everything works, make sure everything, the experience is good. Look at our pricing. We kind of just did a self-reflection and then did a relaunch. I just turned paid ads back on like 2 days ago, actually. Up to that point, it was all people transitioning over and then just organic from podcast and social and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. When I go on and look at the work you've done, so I use Ahrefs to look at everything related to SEO and backlinks and referring domains. I mean, you over the past, since August, you have essentially added almost 1,500 referring domains and almost 123,000 new referring pages. This is not something that happened by accident. You did this intentionally. What did you do and why do it?
Well, there's always some tricks in your back pocket that you don't want to share because you don't want your competitors to get a hold of that. But I'm a big fan of automation. I'm a big fan of growth hacking. I'm an SEO guy, of course. So I remember. You're probably too young for this, but back when I was 19 years old, I was using ICQ. Everybody's talking about chatbots right now. I was doing chatbots when I was 19 years old, using ICQ chatbots to get referral links, getting commissions on referral links and things like that. So, I'm one of those guys who turns dials and figures out, how
but this is a ton. Did you hire an agency to basically and say, go get referring pages and referring domains, or did you do like auto launch a bunch based off like creative content?
So I did a couple of things. One of the things is we do have an agency that builds us links. But it's very minimal actually because it doesn't look natural. And then we also have VAs building links. We just kind of have a system in place to really ramp up that organic traffic.
Yeah, I mean that's where there's a disconnect though, right? So like you have like over 100,000 backlinks, 1,700 referring domains, but your organic traffic monthly is actually extremely low. It's about $2,300 2,300 clicks per month relative to how many backlinks you have, which is a sign to me that these are basically trash referring pages and backlinks.
So some of them are, but the other thing that we have not done, which we're about to get back into, is we really don't post any content. There's very little blog posting. So if there's no blog post, there's nothing for Google to look at. So that's going to be our next step, is to start rolling out more content.
Interesting. Okay. Very cool. Are there any do you recommend this? If there's people listening right now in other industries wanting to drive backlinks, should they use the agency that you're using? Do you recommend the agency or no?
I've honestly had mixed results. I honestly think the best thing to do is follow somebody like Neil Patel. He's got a ton of articles on how to build backlinks, and then hire a VA and make a Loom video. If you're the expert on that, make a Loom video and show them how to do it, and then pass it off to them.
Yep. Guys, if you want to understand all these economics and backlinks and referring domains and organic keywords that we're talking about, I recommend that you guys use Ahrefs. So you can check them out. Go to nathanlatka.com/SEO to give them a try. What other tactics are you using, Andy, to drive growth besides SEO?
So it's all social. So one of the things, I realized because this is my third Amazon SaaS actually. The first one was a discount club. So I don't know how familiar you are with this, but like 3 to 4 years ago, you could give, as an Amazon seller, you could give a discount, like 50% off to some people are giving up to like 99% off to get a review for a product. So Amazon got rid of that, which in retrospect, I think was a great thing because, I shop on Amazon like crazy. I want real reviews. But anyway, when that policy changed, it kind of shut my business down. So then I went into a launch business, and then the effectiveness of that kind of changed. So then I landed at SellerSEO, and SellerSEO is different in the fact that what we're doing now is not going to ever go away. I mean, you can use our tool to optimize for eBay. You could use it for Shopify. If you're not an SEO person, that's where it's really going to work for you.
Okay, so you're testing these things. You got about 32 customers at $75 a month, so about $2,400 a month in revenue right now. Have you bootstrapped this or raised capital?
Yeah, it's all bootstrapped. Like I said, we have a 7-figure Amazon business, so just all bootstrapped.
The SaaS business though is down year over year though because of the Stripe thing, right? So like a year ago today, you're doing like $8,000 a month.
Exactly. Yes, we are down because of the Stripe issue, and that's a warning to people to really take a look at Stripe.
But why didn't you have a cancel button though? That's what people are listening are going to think. Well, he should have had a cancel button. That's his fault.
No, we absolutely had a cancel button. The code wasn't working, so when people clicked on it, nothing happened. And by the time we were made aware of it, the percentage was, there was like 3 or 4 people that had submitted chargebacks. And because of the percentage, Stripe just booted us. So
interesting. How many folks are on the team today, just on the SaaS side?
So we have 3 full-time people and then 4 kind of on contract that just like on demand, like people like writers and things like that. So
how much are you plowing into the software each month? Obviously, you're burning capital, 2,400 top line, 3 employees.
Yeah. So we're burning about $2,500 a month.
Okay. And that's worth it for you guys?
Well, I mean, we see it as it's a long game, I mean, software, especially in something that is as competitive as this space, I definitely see the long-term value. I mean, we're just starting to hit our stride in terms of awareness. I mean, there was another podcast called Seller Systems, which does, they just did like a seller poll, which is like polling Amazon sellers, in the community, what software, that they trust and recommend. And we were ranked number 5. So that's pretty epic in terms of we were above, VC backed companies on that list. So.
No, look, it all makes good sense. Ultimately, though, I mean, the thing for you is you're never going to build this into a real SaaS company because you're making so much money actually selling directly. So until you kill that safety net, you're like, I just don't think you'll ever really focus on building the SaaS business.
You mean safety net in terms of my Amazon business?
Yeah, like you're already making bank on the like selling like yourself. You have no incentive. You don't have to make the SaaS business work.
Well, I do in terms of that's what I want to do. I mean, the Amazon business is mostly runs itself now. So the amount of time I have to put into it is minimal.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, favorite business book.
Right now, I have a ton, of course, but Clockwork by Mike McAllowitz is probably my favorite right now.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
I don't really follow or study CEOs. I have a love-hate relationship with Gary Vee, so I'm on and off to him quite a bit. But he kind of but I still think he's got some good stuff to say. And he's right around my age, so I relate a lot to him.
Number three, what's your favorite online tool for building the company?
Zapier.
Number four, how many hours of sleep you getting every night?
About 4 to 7.
Okay, and what's your situation? Married, single, kiddos?
I have a wife and 3 kids below the age of 7. Hence my
holy mackerel.
Sleep.
Okay, and how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 41.
41. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
A couple of things. I know I'm supposed to only give you one, but one would be how to write business systems, and the other would be to stay focused.
Yep. Guys, there you have it. SellerSEO, helping Amazon sellers sell more effectively, better optimize their keywords. They have about 32 customers right now paying $75 a month, so doing $2,400 a month in revenue. That's down from $8,000 a month about a year ago because of a Stripe chargeback issue. They're now, though, reshifting this, building it. He knows what he's doing because he actually sells on Amazon over 7 figures annually. So if he can get the tech working and cranking, it should scale nicely. 3 folks on the team, they're burning about $2,500 per month right now to drive that growth. All right. Thanks for taking us to the top, man. Appreciate it, Andy.
Hey, thank you. Have a great day.
These CEOs rarely give these kinds of interviews. I hit them hard, I get the data, and I want to do it more. So if you want to get more of this stuff, make sure you subscribe up here. And then additionally, go check out one of my other CEO interviews right now.